This is it. Time to beat Raphael. Hey, wait a minute. Harlep, what are you doing here? Did Raph not think I was good enough? I guess we'll need to wait until later on in the video when you're strong enough. But anyways, welcome to Baldur's Gate, Act 3, or Baldur's Gate 3 for short. If you haven't seen Part 1 and 2, I encourage you to go check those out first. And you. Yeah, you. You're real bold for not subbing in fireball range. Now that all the non-subs are dead, we can move along. So there's a mugger right up here called Yenna. She's real evil and insidious. However, coming into this act, we were able to activate our Parasite and perform even stronger Mind Flayer abilities, which the only one I care about and will be using this run is Flight, which we will use to deftly escape her. Or so I thought, but she's running after us. Like I said, insidious. Anyways, this guy looks nice. Let's talk to someone who doesn't want to kill us. Yeah, I wish. Everyone in this town is after us. The last two chosen especially, being Enver Gortash the Duke, and Orin the Slayer, who is a shapeshifter capable of disguising. The man Orin was impersonating is here, and is understandably agitated, but we are quite charismatic thanks to our sorcerer's background, and can easily persuade anyone to ribbons. So we've gotten to get into Baldur's Gate. There's a lot going on: murder, intrigue, refugees. None of it can really be solved with fire, except maybe the refugees, but we'll be going around. There's a handy little outcropping here, where we can use our newfound flight to make our way inside the trade plaza outside of town. And it's here where we'll functionally have infinite long rests. You can cheese long rests with withers, or by partial resting, though I like to give myself some kind of resources to manage, so I do it the good old-fashioned way. Flight comes into effect once more, allowing me to fly right through the bridge. I'm sure we're charismatic enough to have talked my way in, though. So we are already introduced to Orin, so now it's time for our Lord Enver Gortash, who's currently becoming Duke. One short walk upstairs and we meet our man. Now he gives us a deal to kill Orin first, which we'll take since there's no reason not to. He'll be dying first regardless. But before I do anything in Baldur's Gate, I need to make my way to the Mage Tower. Here I heard from someone that he's looking for the Night Song, which we've got in our camp. And I'm feeling like making some money, especially since we're going to buy a lot from this shop. Mostly the scrolls, but he's got some good mage items we'll be picking up, as well as the Ring of Regen, which is a solid option, especially if paired with the Periaptive Wound Closure. I was curious what happens if you go into the wrong portal, and guess what? It teleports you 10,000 meters below the ground. At least that's what I assume, since my game crashes when I do it. So as mentioned, we'll be selling Aelin for coin, and I work to strike a deal with the man himself. And while he's distracted thinking of the prospect of his immortality, I'm taking all of his shit. Like, all of it. Flying down, there's a magic vault with valuable items and invisible levers. We have Volo's Eye, but you can buy a scroll from the shop downstairs. It's not easy though, since the levers take a 20 to open, and our Arcana isn't so good. Luckily, I'm a beast at rolling, and don't need any inspiration. This staff will be a huge power spike for us, giving us a great toggleable ability, allowing us to cast a free spell, as well as a secondary ability giving us some free spells, and heat conversions for extra damage. Not to mention the passives, of course. On the flip side is another lever and another 20, and another lucky roll. This one gives us the Robe of the Weave, which gives us some nice armor and bonuses, not to mention some more healing, which will pair nicely with the Periapt. But we're not done though, he's got more crap downstairs. Namely, lots of spell scrolls, which I will be taking despite not being able to use half of them. Contrary to popular belief, we do actually want to stop by and get the Hellfire Great Axe for later. And the Power of Quickness hat, which to be honest I hate. I thought it would be good, but it burns you each time you do damage with the leveled spell, meaning if we're upcasting Scorching Ray, we're dealing 20 burn damage to ourselves just for a bonus action. I'll stick to Fire Acuity. So let's send Aelin off on her merry way, since we do want that 5 grand. And we'll protect Isabel from Orin. There we go, a nice clean camp, apart from withers. This fight against the Robocan can be very annoying at times, so it's a nice breath of fresh air to watch Aelin as she gets melted by elementals. And being a sage, it's what my character would do. The Robocan drops not very good things, so we don't actually really want to kill him. And if we help him, he'll assist us in the final battle, which we can actually use. I haven't killed anything in a while though, so let's exterminate some rats. Damn, they're making them big nowadays. As we did in the last video, our new favorite go-to opener is Minor Illusion into Firewall, which, unlike Fireball, does initial damage, and then we're able to keep it chugging, so long as I don't break concentration. Midway through the fight, I spend all of my spells, and I go for a long rest. And what? How did she find me? It's the mugger from the beginning of the act. Please don't hurt me. Oh, it's just you, Orin. You captured this girl? You mean this devil? I've never even talked to this thing before. Keep her. They'll be back for you later. Alright, we're back with what really matters. Killing some random Githyanki for no reason than to get that sweet, sweet XP. Also, the Emperor's stuff is here, but we can't actually perceive the door, so I guess we're ignoring it. Now, I want to kill Gortash as much as the next guy, but we'll be needing to head to the foundry first to shut down his steel guard. Oh, hey Volo. Got yourself in another pickle, it looks like. Well, don't mind me, I'll be taking all those explosives for later. I'm sure the locals won't mind if I take these. It's for a good cause, I swear. Volo, get out of the way, please, thank you. Alright, you can have your explosives back. And we can do better. There we go. Plenty of Scorching Rays later and the day's saved. Wait, why did we save Volo again? Oh, that's right, because he was trying to rob us of our precious explosives, which I probably won't even use. Inside the foundry, we gaslight some Gondians into fighting against their captors. Unfortunately, I took off Careful spell, so mind the friendly fire. We have an amazing AoE burst on top of our single target burst, so combat goes smoothly. Now the guard has something called a motivator, which if I were to guess, does a bad thing, so I better go disable it. We're gonna need the Gondians' help to go shut down the foundry. Well, that's just how the dice roll sometimes. Sorry about the friendly fire. On the bright side, we're level 9 now. We don't care about any more spells, but telekinesis might come in handy. So the foundry workers could be run up very nicely with our tried and true strategy of Minor Illusion into unleashing hell. And we're able to clean up most humanoid enemies with relative ease. Now the problem are these Hellfire Watchers, who, hence the name, shoot Hellfire, which bypasses fire resistance, so it hurts. Not to mention there's 2 of them. I wish I had Hellfire. So let's go ahead to the Hells and grab some. Hellsec here has a ritual bag and the steps to creating a portal to the House of Hope, the lair of Raphael. Luckily our single target burst is on point and we can stealth right to the puzzle. Here in the Hells there's a couple important items we want. The Helldust gloves give our weapons a fire imbuement if we're ever that desperate, and I enjoy the Rays of Fire cantrip, doing 50 or so damage in one attack. It's only every short rest, but it's good damage. Other items include the Amulet of Greater Health and of course the Orphic Hammer. To get access to any of this though, we're gonna have to kill Raphael. Luckily, he lives right outside a giant fountain of restoration that essentially full heals us, so we're not going into so big a grind. There he is, master of the house himself guarding the entrance. Yeah, I already did this bit. What really happened was I lured him all the way over with our good friend Minor Illusion, which was all too enticing for Harlip. Time to get to burning. Luckily, for some reason they decided to make Harlip not immune to fire, which is fantastic for me since all of his imps were immune, which is why we're here. Unfortunately, when he takes damage once, he vanishes into the ethereal plane, so our multi-hit spells are useless. This leaves us with Fireball, which is our greatest damage spell we can cast, which, as you might be aware, is quite good. If we want to clear the rest of the House of Hope, we're going to need to bypass fire immunity, which is not the easiest thing in the world. However, you may notice me taking proficiency in battle axes. That's right, we're using the Hellfire Great Axe to kill. Hellfire Great Axe creates Hellfire, which bypasses fire immunity, so you can use this to kill the majority of the debtors. We can only use this once every short rest, but there's a lovely restoration fountain we can still use to rinse and repeat. Minor illusioning to make it as easy as possible, and striking with impunity. Earlier when I was shopping at Leroycans, I made sure to pick up a very important scroll, Planar Binding, allowing us to bind an otherworldly creature to our service. There's a couple of those in Hell, and I feel like claiming a meatball for my own. That's right, with this power we're able to bind the Hell Spheres to our service, which can bypass all the enemy's resistances, including himself, for some ball-on-ball action. It only lasts 10 turns however, so we need to find something else for Raffi. Ignoring hope and lockpicking the door reveals the master of the house. Being invisible lets us prepare right in front of his face though, and I'll start by isolating him in the middle, dragging his guards to the side. Now the general idea is we can isolate him with telekinesis and bring him over, but the chances are low at our DC. Luckily, fire acuity comes in handy. All we need to do to get arcane acuity is to do fire damage, and that can be towards a book, furniture, or enemies. Using this, we can stack our DC to make it a 72% chance from a 25%, and we're able to kidnap him. No one else is aware of what's happening, so we can take our sweet time with him. But since we're dragging him along like this, let's give him a nice look at the pits of Avernus. Now unfortunately Raphael is a cheater, and he's immune to even my Hellfire, which I guess makes sense. But is he immune to the bubbling magma at the bottom of Avernus? It's looking like a no. You may find this a waste of his equipment, but luckily for you, my greedy viewer, telekinesis works both ways. We won't be using his Helldusk armor, but it's certainly there. It was possible to throw Raphael in far sooner, however this pit of damned souls is not fire damage, so I opted for the pits of Avernus. All that's left is to kill the remaining Cambrions, which takes a bit of doing. I ended up gathering over 50 barrels just in case to kill Raphael, though we didn't end up needing them, so I guess we'll save them for another time. With our newfound strength, we can murder Hellfire Watchers with ease, which is good since there's a lot of them we're going to have to deal with. In the back room of the Foundry, there's 3 Hellfire Watchers and a huge Guardian. But there's also a door. That's right, we can pick them off one at a time. It's no one gave these bots any programming to open doors. And of course, the #1 best way to kill enemies is with Minor Illusion. So enticing, so deadly. We do this for all the Watchers, closing the door every time just to make sure it's just the one, and then we can painlessly burst them down. Now for the boss. He also doesn't have any door programming, which means we can continuously firebolt him, close the door, rinse and repeat. Even in his defense form, he doesn't have the power to break through our blockade. I don't know if the crates are helping, but they definitely give me peace of mind. Several Ignis later, and we've got the boss so bored he's opting to blow himself up, which you know it works for me. On him is the Gaunter Mail, which is a bow that we actually care about wielding since it gives haste, and is shiny. So there was one last Ghanaian that didn't die, who promised to help me. However, I decided to show him the motivator that killed his daughter for funsies. And I don't think he liked it too much, so we need to figure out something out. I opted for fire. Now, since we killed him, if we speak the dead with him, he won't want to talk. Luckily, we can disguise ourselves and learn the true name of Gand. Putting that in causes the most epic escape sequence of your days. I guess I could have just done that in the first place. Well, regardless, with the Steel Watch down, we're on the Gortash, which is not as easy as I'd hope. While an Avatar of Tyranny, he's immune to fire and force damage. Luckily, there's some smoke powder barrels just right beside me, and if I learned anything from Balthazar, it's that boom plus cliff equals death. One more of the Chosen down, and we're on to Orin, which goes as well as you'd expect, being very. Fireball is really good here, so we're able to outmaneuver and get our final piece of the puzzle. Alright, no use delaying, let's get straight to the final act. Right at the end is a shopkeeper who has potions of Angelic Reprieve, which restores our level 1 and level 2 spell slots. So, if we convert them all to sorcery points and then take a nap, when we awake we retain them all. We do this several times, give us a good sorcery point bank and an extra 5 level spell slots. We also get access to Lorokan's Artillery Blast, which is cool. Not that we'll be using it, but it's cool. Alright, let's get right to the final fight. Sorry, all this fire's got me burned out. But let's use whatever embers we've got left to burn us a brain. I'll be twinning invisibility on me and the Emperor, since I will not be fighting a red dragon with fire on this fine day. I've got me a brain to kill and no time to waste. Now our damage output is severely limited, since our multi-hit spells get interrupted by Mind Break, so we'll need to mostly rely on Fireball to do the majority of the damage. I swear though, the game just decides randomly to Mind Break me. But we are allowed to get a few good volleys of Scorching Ray off. Unfortunately, my health isn't high enough to survive one more Mind Break, and the Emperor can't throw potions at me. But what he can do is break potions from me. I put one at my feet for him to break, giving me one final boost of energy I need to finish the game with fire only.
Impossible. Pain. Fear. Terror. Reconsider. Assess. Implore. Surrender.
Subdued at last, it begs for its life.
Spare me. Join me. Wield me. Become absolute.
It pleads because it knows I'm its master.
The brain is on the cusp of its final thought, and it's taking all of the Emperor's strength to keep it there.
My master. I must obey. I must end.
Hopes, nightmares, and the screams of legions upon legions of unborn elite. The pain rips through you, obliterating all thought, all feeling. Your tadpole burns in your brain. Silence. For the first time in a long time, your thoughts are entirely your own. And everything you did, everything you sacrificed,
It's done. The brain is defeated. We're free. You did well. You trusted me. I see. It's a shame. With an attitude like that, you would have made a wonderful Elithid. The Githyanki are leaving. What will you do now? You can, if you wish. But I will not be joining you. The city has no love for the likes of me. I will do what I have always done. I will survive. This is my city. It needs authority. Strange, isn't it? To have traveled this far, inseparable. I'll miss you, you know. You have become important to me. And should our paths ever cross again, I will be glad to see you.
of you. You, who were destined to become a thrall. Thanks to you, there will be no Illithid empire, no death god's tyranny. You have earned your place amongst the legends of the Sword Coast. You are the saviors of Baldur's Gate.
Thanks for watching this far. If you want to check out some of my other videos, feel free to do so. Otherwise, have a good rest of your day.